Night and day. Night and day.
A girl needs a necklace.
Yeah.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. What's the matter?
I was just putting the columns.
Hey, Martin. Good morning. Good morning. So it's a bright and shiny Tuesday. Or it's not a bright and shiny Tuesday. So
No,
it's
it
either
should be
or.
bright and shiny today.
Well, no, I don't mean the weather. I mean the inside of your soul or your heart, So maybe you're waking up this morning and you're feeling ready to go, ready for the day. Maybe you woke up and you're like, oh God, I don't know. It's Tuesday. I just remember.
Morning, Adele.
I remember not too long ago, I was actually it was a long time ago. It was like 3 years ago. I was in a yoga class and it was really, really hard. And I was like so exhausted, and I just wanted to give up and like to go into Shavasana, just like lay down flat on the mat and just like call it a day. And afterwards, my yoga teacher came over to me and she was like, I watch you when you're doing your yoga. She said, in every single pose that you're doing, you're going like this and like this, and you're like really doing it. And you're like this, And she said, there is, instead of quitting, there's a middle way. She didn't describe it like the middle way like I do now, but just like, instead of quitting, why don't you back off 20%? Stay in the game, but just back off like 20% and you'll get rejuvenated and refreshed and be able to stay in it. And I don't know why. I'm sure I've heard that concept before of like just, backing out a little bit, not quitting, knowing when to rest.
Easing into it.
Like the difference between knowing when to quit and knowing when to rest and take a break or ease out a little bit. And that is so true, just in life. I think it gets really hard and then we don't remember, we can slow down. We can not have to go as hard as we do all the time. This morning, I was like, I'm kind of tired. I'm not feeling that great this morning. So I was like, how could I back out a little bit and let you, part of a team, and having a team around you is knowing when to like back out and let somebody else kind of take the reins, right? So you're going to talk about team today, right? You're going to talk about team today because you're going to be with part of your team this weekend.
Right. So the idea of Teamwork Tuesday as well is the idea of the company you keep, the team that you are on, the team that you create, the team that you choose. And also, like Heidi and I are a team as well. And, as we're going through life, we also rely on each other to just offer feedback and sort of get under the hood sometimes. But also going beyond that is then when you dive into an environment, the idea of surrounding yourself with people that are playing at a higher level. So the idea of the investment of your time. So what Heidi is sharing is that I'm leaving tonight, going up to Orlando for, for a mastermind, which is going to be about 30 like-minded people, all playing at a high level, all like supporting each other to make sure that we're getting the best results. And at the same time, if you notice in the little comment there in the title, we also talked about flexibility. We've made a commitment to do this live every day for each other, for anyone, for you who are ready to just keep the momentum going, keep the act sharp, and we're going to have to be creative and flexible about it. All right?
Yeah. First day with my new lips.
Oh, it happens.
Thank you. It's not my first day with my lips. Thank you for all the love and the hearts.
Yes, and
that was making me smile inside, and the joy
smile on the outside
bubbled up.
So what we're going to do is, while I'm away, we will be doing this via our phones, and we will be doing it sort of split screen and having fun with that. And I'll be in the hotel room and so forth. And it's the idea of also being flexible with your team. I had a conversation with a good friend of ours, David, and we were just discussing kind of this event that I was going to, and he was asking what, just how's it going? What am I getting out of it? And I shared with him the bigger picture was the team. It wasn't just the
Training for the
program and
coach
the
or
training,
whatever.
right? It was the whole, what was
Surrounding yourself.
most attractive was the idea that it was a group of people who were continually getting together, excuse me, and hello, my team of one should get organized here. It was that we were supporting each other and getting inspired by each other and so forth. And I will share.
Look at this love, Doug.
I know.
This
Adele's
is making-
awesome.
this is making my day.
Have you met Adele?
I don't think so.
He holds the Guinness Book of World Records for memory. That was
You
a
could
pun.
remember. Look,
That was
what
a
did
pun.
he say here? Because this
He's
is
a runner
good.
too.
Yes, very nice. When I was in the ultra marathon a month back, it was like that. But a week before, after 10 miles, my knee was gone and had to go back out. But a week later, 30 miles. So I love what you're saying.
Yep,
Yes,
boom.
awesome. My spirit animal, Adele.
Yep.
Okay, nice to know you. Good morning,
Yes.
Jen. Good morning, Justin.
Yes, it is a little bit of another world down here in New York, although it's warming up there, right? Isn't it? So the excuse me, the idea then maybe like one of the things Heidi shared yesterday about focus, like points of focus, and one of the things we could do is that's why we sort of make these days, Momentum Monday maybe, or Teamwork Tuesday, or Transformation Thursday, Gratitude Wednesday, Feel the Force Friday. These are all reminders of things that we could focus on as we're also working together, working what we're immersing ourselves in, and then activating our reticular activator system to look for. So today, maybe you could look for team. Who could be on your team? Who is on your team? How could you appreciate your team? And who's missing? One of the things that also is really valuable is knowing what you're good at, and then seek out team for what maybe you're not as good at.
That's so true. Whenever I used to be a business consultant. Well, I still am a business consultant for some of my clients that come to me for that. But I was an international business consultant for multi-million-dollar companies, and I would go into these companies that were struggling and take them over. So my whole job was to figure out what was working, what wasn't working, and restructure the entire thing and make it fly, right? Take a stinker and make it a winner. And when I would go in there, I would say, they would want me to go and focus like the 80-20, the Pareto principle, right? That 20% of the people in the company are responsible for 80% of the success. And 20% of the people around you are responsible for 80% of your success, right? Mm-hmm. And so sometimes people would say, focus on the weaknesses, go in there and work with these people that aren't that skilled and get their skills up. And I say, there's no way that I'm going to do that, because I could take somebody who in their strength zone and their weakness scale is a 4, right? In this area of weakness, right? Like being able to, there's people who are visionaries and there are people that are producers, able to put it into action. So maybe they're not able to do that. Say, okay, I'll work with them on being able to get behind the numbers and really focus on the details. And I could work my butt off for 5 months with this team and only get that person up to a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10 from a 4, or I could hire a 10 and work with that person in their zone of genius, right? Instead. And so that's the beauty of, it's not that you're going to work with somebody necessarily to fix your weaknesses, right? It's that you work with people around you to elevate your strengths and they complement your weaknesses. And so for me, that was hard for me for a long time, because even though I believed in that with building teams in my personal life, not so much, right?
It doesn't apply there.
I didn't want to have a team. I was what we call compulsively self-reliant, right? Like, I'll do it myself. I'll take care of everything. The problem with that, as is that you can only trust yourself, right? You don't let other people come alongside of you, and your ego gets sucked in. Like, if I'm not doing it all by myself, then I'm not really doing it, And then you end up burning out.
Well, you get wrapped up into like all the activities taken on.
That's what I did. I ended up burning out because I was like, I need to do it all by myself, or it doesn't mean anything. I'm not really doing it. Some kind of weird twisted thing I had in my own,
right,
psychology.
You're the only one who ever has that. Yes, no one here could
relate. So, but I had to get over that really quickly and say, no, I'm going to allow people to come alongside me. And still to this day, I mean, you're better at it than I am, because you always are a partner, right? You believe in partnering. That's where the way the world's going right now. Tony is partnering with Dean Graziosi, doing this. They're going to break the internet, whatever thing. Okay. Well, I mean, that's good.
It might.
Help.
Let's see.
Hey. but everybody's partnering, right? These strategic alliances. And so it's your turn too, right? To look around and say, who can I really trust to be on my team? Who do I trust to come alongside of me and help complement my weaknesses by living in their strengths?
And also you get to borrow their energy, right? Because then I love using the analogy of using roller skating, where you're working together and you take your friend and you like thrust them ahead. And then what happens? They've got the energy, and then you stay holding on. You make an agreement team-wise. This is how we're going to support each other, so that when your friend goes flying ahead, they've got all this energy, and then they pull you ahead, and then you start gaining even more momentum, and the whole process speeds up. And that's like the compound interest, of team.
Good morning, Derek. Good morning, Preston.
And by the way, everyone here, we are all
Jessica.
team to some extent as well. And like Preston, our new friend Preston, we met the other night and had lunch with him yesterday. Super awesome guy. And like, these are opportunities where we can all support each other to grow and keep the energy, keep the momentum, right? The all boats rise and fall with the tide. So, put yourself in a deep ocean that's going to have that stability, that energy, and that opportunity.
No, it's so Doug needs to be with his team, right? To go sharpen his axe, be with his coach, be with the other people in the program who are going to help him continue to hone in and make progress towards, his personal goals and for our family. And so the way that I support our team is I'm with Ellie. I'm still running my business. I'm still seeing my clients. I'm still doing whatever. But I know that in order for him to feel good about going and wanting to take that time, that I need to create the space, an environment that makes it not just okay for him to do that, but encourages him to do what he needs to do and encourages that. I remember, when I was pregnant, it was right after I had Ellie, it was the first time in my life I didn't feel like a team at all. Right. Because I felt like it was just me, and after women have babies, like the most Googled phrase is, why do I hate my husband? I did not Google that. But what I would
because you already knew why you hated me.
Yeah. What I would say is that there's this, oh my gosh, we're not a team now. I'm nursing. I'm doing everything myself. I'm working 8 hours a day plus, taking care of the baby all by myself and doing all these things, and started to build some resentment about, and so here's the crazy thing. My husband wanted to do everything he could possibly do, but I was not being vocal and verbalizing what it is that I needed from him to do. I didn't even know what I needed him to do. So part of being on a team is knowing what it is you need and asking for that from other people, right? Asking for what you need from your partner. And so I remember when you would go to the gym and we had this conversation about why it was so important for you to do that, because it fuels you up. So everybody in your life is doing something because it's a benefit for them, right? So the only reason that we're not going to the gym as women or doing what we need to do is because we're not making that a priority as part of our fuel to be able to go in. Like, people pleasers can look at other people and go, wow, you're doing everything you need, and get resentful about that. The only difference between them is you're not claiming it. You're not giving yourself a permission slip to say, so like when he comes home from this trip, I will need him to take over, right? And I will ask him and say, okay, great, you're back. Now here's what I'm going to go do. I need to go to my dance class. I need to go rejuvenate and get myself reacquainted with all the things that probably I was doing double duty for this next week that prevented me from really doing all the things that I need to do full tilt boogie, right? So when you have a team, delegation and asking is such a huge part of the game, is like being able to say, hey, this is what I need from my team. So maybe you're good at that. Maybe you aren't good at that. Maybe you can get better at that.
Well,
thank you.
I love telling the story. And one of the things that I so appreciate about Heidi is generally she does tell me what she wants.
Well, I do now. Yeah.
But I remember there's a Everybody Loves Raymond episode where Deborah was struggling with whatever, and she says, Ray, why do I have to tell you what I want? You should know what I want. Why should I tell you? Why do I have to tell you? And he just looks at her and goes, so I would know.
Right.
And that's such a simple but and sometimes trite thing to say, but
it's really true, because there's a lot of people that are in partnerships right now that are not asking for what they need, and they're feeling like they're going it alone with somebody next to them, and then somebody else should know.
Right.
Hey, you're supposed to be on my team. You should know how I feel. People do not know. You actually need to tell them, and that's the why too. Is like, if you love me, you would know what I need. You know, if you cared about me, you should be able to read my mind and know that I'm struggling or what I need. But that's not real either. People, oh, that's okay, baby. I don't want to, honey. I'm just going to stay here with you. She said I could sit on the chair.
Yeah.
So asking for what you need, knowing for what you need, and creating the space for each other to get our needs met, right? And looking around saying, who's on your team? What are their strengths? How can I utilize their strengths instead of pointing out their weaknesses? You know, even in a marriage, we have individual strengths. We could spend a lot of time criticizing our weaknesses and say, well, you don't know, really, this isn't, you know, you don't do this enough or that enough. But a rising tide floats all boats. Let's look at each other and say, wow, this is what I love about you. This is how we can add value to each other. These are the skills and the character traits that you bring.
You found the creepy doll?
So let's utilize those strengths and stop wasting time talking about what we're not doing for each other, what we're not bringing to the table, and what we are bringing to the table. She found the creepy doll. You guys know we hide it every day. Here it is, over here. Hey, baby, I'll get it for you. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Well, she's very creative and flexible. She was grabbing a piano stool.
Well, you know what? That's dangerous to do it over here.
Yeah.
Did you want to say hi? Good morning to everybody on this Tuesday?
Okay, this is very creepy.
Okay, it is very creepy. You want to come say good morning?
So, yeah, Kayla said that she needed to hear that this morning, going through that right now. They just had a child like a month ago and seeing feelings. Guilty of that, made me open my eyes a lot.
Good. I'm glad. So you know what I know for sure, Kayla, is that most husbands, you know, or partners really live to light you up. They live to put a smile on your face. And really, we're all 13-year-olds at the end of the day, right?
Are you Kayla?
Not Kayla, it's different Kayla. And so we're all, you know, longing to please and want to do good and get a gold star. And so we want to help each other be successful by telling each other what we need. You know, I could have said like, women have this sixth sense about what needs done around the house. We can walk by and see, oh, this needs done, that needs done. But men have like this tunnel vision sometimes with just like singular activities. And so we make the wrong assumption. Well, he notices all those things that need done and he's just not doing them. And then we make a story up that your husband's withholding, or that he's not doing something because he's just not loving enough or doesn't care enough. But the reality is it's not even in his wheelhouse. He's not even conscious of it. And so it's our job to lovingly make conscious the unconscious by asking for what we need, right? It would help me so much. It would make my life so much easier. I would be so grateful if, you know, these are all the things that need to get done in a day. I'd be so grateful if you take 5 of those things off the table, or if you'd help in this way. And so just tell people how they can win with you, right? When you tell people how they can win with you, it makes their lives so much easier, because everybody wants to win.
And
nobody sets out being like, let me disappoint you. You know, let me be a disappointing partner.
Well, and that's why also, again, so much of like even my program, Strategic Emotional Mastery, is about that, because the only reason why all that starts building up is that you get resentful. Now you're in that state, and now you start looking for more things to be resentful about. Right. And then it just spirals. And we do that to each other. We do that to ourselves. We do that in our business. And that's why the, you know, fundamentals are really being aware of what filters am I running this through? Like, I'm resentful right now. Now I'm making decisions. I'm making up a story through the filter of resentment, which is going to be in alignment with that.
Do you know why I had such a problem too asking for what I needed? Because I was sold this story, again, that our furniture is ruined because these cats, who I love, don't get it twisted, that if I ask, I'm needy, and then there's something wrong with me, right? If I ask for too much, then I'm going to be a needy person, and I'm going to be looked at like I'm incompetent or like I need too much. And so that's old programming, right? This afraid to have your needs met or ask for your needs is such old tape that's playing. That's like, no, it's not okay to need. Suck it up. Pretend you can take care of it on your own. What I found, once I got over the fear of asking for my needs to be met, is holy cow, people are either ready to meet them or they're not, but at least now I know because I've asked. Now the mystery is gone, right? Some of you are in relationships or partnerships or work relationships where you're going to ask for your needs to get met and they're going to decline. Now you're at a crossroads because now you can say, it's not that, see, the mind reading lets you off the hook. You can imagine something else that may or may not be true. But when you ask for your needs to be met and there's a denial, an implicit denial, then it's an opportunity for you to make a new decision about what you're willing to tolerate and who's on your team, right? But if you ask and they meet the need, then we all elevate, right? We all get to the next level of happiness and success in our lives. So either way, from my perspective, it's a win-win for you.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't have a target, then you don't know if you're going to hit it, right? So it's great to have that target.
All right. Well, do you want to say anything else? Because we're going to sign off for the morning. Do you want to say anything about having a great day?
I love you guys. The same. Let's say on the back. Have a great day.
Oh, was there English in this?
So,
I'm gonna have a guy sing. I love it. Sing the thumbs up, down, and I love you. And then it's go on the back. I'm gonna just gonna. I never got that sing the thing. And so I got the quizzes in my bag. I got a silver let's take for ice cream. I'll take it for the ice cream and you listen with time.
she's speaking in tongues.
The child's got the spirit on her. Holy hell, from the spirits above. The Lord hath talked through my child. My child is a prophet of the Lord. Hey, look, don't get offended, okay? I love Jesus. Okay. I am the one that gets up with her, works.
Ooh,
Oh,
Ellie.
that hurt my feelings.
Why would you do that?
That's okay. That hurt my feelings. Clean the house and all that. He will offer help, but I will turn it down because I'm not. I like to. She said I like to be in control. Yeah. And then when I do it by myself, I break down. Exactly. What a crazy cycle. Stop the insanity. Remember Susan Powter from the 80s? I'm old. Susan Powter was like, had that sweetie here. She was like, stop the insanity with their infomercial. That, Kayla, is the definition of insanity. So I'll tell you what, your life is going to get so much easier. So your spiritual practice for the rest of the day and this week is to say, yes, please. You know, there's an art to receiving. And most women that I know, the reason that we feel like resentful or dead inside or cut off from our feelings is because we don't know how to receive. We know how to give and give and give and give and give, but receiving is an art form. And that's a deeper conversation. It really, truly is. When I work with my clients, it's like that's at the root a lot of the time is I don't know how to let people love me. I don't know how to let people give to me. It's a foreign feeling. And so, but here's the really cool thing is once you get good at receiving, a light turns on and then you're able to receive more of everything, abundance, friendships, romance, all the things that you've been lacking. So let's maybe cultivate the practice of receiving. Jay says, thank you for the message, guys. Being a newlywed, I truly feel I have to be a superhero, mind reader, and massage therapist. Well, that's what he is. Helpless, romantic, or financial provider. I don't even realize what she thinks about her role day in, day out. So it's good for me to sit down and communicate. Yes, I love that.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Well, communication.
Yeah.
Key. That's the breakdown in every relationship, professional, personal, and otherwise. Internal communication and external. So that's beautiful, that awareness to say, hey, let's have this conversation. Here's what's going on, and here's how we communicate.
This is what most people do, hide and seek. They go, no, I don't need anything. Hey, you were supposed to give me that thing I needed. Hey, no, I don't need anything from you. Hey, you're not meeting my needs.
I told you I didn't need it, but what I really meant was I do need it.
Yeah, right? Okay. All right, guys. Well, we love you so much. We hope you're having
Whoa.
an incredible Tuesday.
There you go.
Are you okay?
That was scary.
That was scary.
Okay. All right. Are you safe?
Where? Show me. Okay.
All right. Well,
Gosh,
we're
she's
gonna
okay.
go. All right. Well, we should probably take care of her. All right. We love you for who you are and who you aren't.